Why do people fall in love with you? Have you ever paused to truly consider why certain individuals feel such an intense, almost magnetic pull toward you? Why do some people seem irresistibly drawn, as if by some unseen force? Is it simply your outward personality, your physical appearance, or the charm you naturally exude? Or could there be something more intricate, something far more profound occurring beneath the surface of conscious awareness? Carl Jung, one of the most groundbreaking thinkers and depth psychologists of the 20th century, proposed that love is far from random or accidental. According to him, people don't fall for you purely by chance. Rather, there are two deeply rooted psychological reasons behind romantic attraction, both of which originate from the innermost recesses of the human subconscious. In this exploration, we'll journey through Jung's thought-provoking perspectives on love, psychological projection, and the archetypes of Anima and Animus. We'll unravel the reasons why people are magnetically attracted to you, not simply for who you appear to be, but for what your presence symbolizes within their inner psychological world. We're going to dig into the invisible forces of the unconscious mind that shape and sculpt the nature of romantic attachment. These hidden energies reveal the true motivations behind why someone may fall deeply in love with you. These motivations have less to do with the obvious or superficial aspects of who you are and far more to do with the hidden framework of their internal psyche. We often romanticize love as if it were a spontaneous miracle, a lightning bolt of fate striking out of nowhere. However, Jung would argue otherwise. For him, even the most sudden, seemingly unexplainable infatuation is governed by a deeper internal logic, a carefully structured psychological order. What seems like randomness is often the culmination of years of unconscious development, emotional suppression, and unmet internal desires. That spark of connection, which feels spontaneous and magical, is in fact orchestrated by an unseen inner mechanism. This is where the idea of psychological projection enters the picture. Every human being harbors internalized images, representations, and emotional imprints, elements of who they are, who they used to be, or who they secretly aspire to become. These inner blueprints are often pushed into the background of consciousness, buried beneath layers of repression or denial. But they don't simply vanish. They linger. They wait. And most importantly, they speak to us through the people we meet. When someone appears in your life who aligns, consciously or unconsciously, with those hidden fragments of your psyche, an inexplicable pull emerges. The person might seem magnetic, even spellbinding. But the truth is, it's not necessarily them that you're seeing. It's a reflection of your own inner self, mirrored back at you through their presence. Picture someone who has spent most of their life withdrawn, cautious, emotionally guarded. They might have suppressed their desire for emotional freedom or self-expression for years. Then, suddenly, they encounter someone radiant, daring, unapologetically open. That individual becomes utterly captivating. But why? That attraction is not mere admiration, it's psychological resonance. The bold person represents a latent part of the cautious individual's potential, a side they've buried but unconsciously long to awaken. This pull, this feeling of chemistry, is real. But it's not necessarily about the external traits of the other person. It's about what they symbolize for the unconscious mind. The psyche recognizes what it needs to grow and evolve, and when it finds it in another person, it latches on. Now let's flip the script. Someone else may fall head over heels for you, not because of your surface-level characteristics, but because you represent something vital they're missing. You might unknowingly symbolize a trait or an emotional quality they've been silently searching for. You become more than a person. You become a symbol, a missing puzzle piece that completes an internal picture they didn't even realize was incomplete. The first reason people fall in love with you: you embody something that is absent in them. It's not just about opposites attract. It's deeper. Opposites illuminate absence. A person grounded in logic might be drawn to someone emotionally expressive. An introverted soul might fall for an extroverted spirit. A meticulously organized individual might feel irresistibly intrigued by someone spontaneous and unpredictable. But here's where the danger begins. If that person fails to understand that what they're drawn to in you is something they could potentially cultivate within themselves, they might grow dependent on you, not out of authentic affection, but out of psychological necessity. You become the external embodiment of something they haven't yet integrated internally. When their subconscious needs shift, or when the real you, the complex, imperfect, beautifully human version of you, breaks through the fantasy they've projected, the illusion starts to dissolve. The attraction wanes. That's the hazard of projection. It births an illusion of intimacy, a connection based on fantasy rather than truth. And once reality enters the scene, the illusion often shatters. The affection that once seemed eternal begins to unravel. This emotional unraveling is the collapse of the projected dream. But Jung didn't stop there. He delved deeper, introducing the profound archetypal concepts of the Anima and Animus, inner representations of the opposite gender that dwell in the subconscious mind of every individual. According to Jung, every man carries within him an unconscious feminine image, the Anima. Similarly, every woman harbors within her a subconscious masculine image, the Animus. These archetypes aren't dictated by social norms or cultural stereotypes. They are deeply embedded psychological constructs, shaped by early interactions, especially with our caregivers, and further influenced by collective human symbols, myths, and societal narratives of what it means to be masculine or feminine. Over time, these inner archetypes gain emotional intensity. They become charged with desire, longing, and idealization. Eventually, you might encounter someone in real life who seems to perfectly align with your inner archetype. When this alignment occurs, the emotional response can be overpowering. You may feel as if you've known this person for lifetimes, even if you've only just met. There's a profound sense of familiarity, as though you're reuniting with a part of your soul. It can feel like destiny, like cosmic recognition, or the awakening of some ancient, sacred memory. But Jung would offer a warning. What you're experiencing isn't divine fate. It's your psyche seeing itself. The second reason someone falls in love with you, you awaken a deeply rooted unconscious image they've carried within them for years, perhaps even a lifetime. It's not necessarily your mannerisms, appearance, or words that captivate them. It's the essence you emit, the energy you carry, the unspoken symbolism you represent. You trigger a subconscious pattern that evokes intense emotion, and the connection feels instant, irrational, and all-consuming. But again, it's not truly about you. It's about the symbolic meaning they've assigned to you, often unknowingly. And here lies the core issue. When someone falls in love with a projected image, an inner fantasy, they're not actually falling for you. They're enamored with an illusion, a psychological representation that predates your presence. You become a canvas upon which their mind paints its long-held dreams, hopes, and unmet desires. But eventually, your true self emerges, your vulnerabilities, your contradictions, your humanity. The fantasy starts to crack. What once felt divine becomes confusing. What once felt perfect begins to feel flawed. Frustration arises. Disappointment follows. The projection begins to crumble, collapsing under the weight of reality. This is why so many intense, passionate romances begin like fairy tales, but dissolve into turmoil. The love wasn't founded on mutual understanding. It was built on psychological projection and archetypal resonance. Understanding this can help you not only navigate love more wisely, but also recognize the hidden reasons why people are so strongly drawn to you. You're not just a person. They see you as a mirror, a symbol, or even a mythic figure in the story of their unconscious journey. An unconscious narrative attempting to express itself in the realm of reality. But no human being can embody an archetype indefinitely. It's a role too vast, too symbolic, too deeply rooted in the collective psyche to be maintained forever. Before we go any further, I genuinely hope you're gaining something valuable from this video. If these insights resonate with you or spark reflection, please consider sharing it with someone who might benefit from hearing these ideas. And if you feel called to support the Mind's Secret Path channel and everything we create here, You can contribute by clicking the Thanks button just beneath this video. Your generosity and encouragement truly make all the difference in helping us continue this work. Let's keep going. Despite the heartache and confusion projection often causes, Carl Jung didn't view it as a failure or misstep. Quite the opposite. He regarded it as a necessary stage in the unfolding of the self. Love isn't merely an emotional high or a romantic connection. It's a powerful mechanism for psychological and spiritual transformation. Every person we fall for serves as a reflective surface, a living mirror that reveals parts of ourselves we may not yet be aware of. Some individuals mirror our untapped talents, our sleeping potential waiting to be activated. Others reflect our buried anxieties or unresolved emotional wounds. Some inspire our imagination, sparking creativity and vision. Others stir our insecurities, showing us the fragility of our ego. But no matter what they bring to the surface, each person fulfills a vital psychological role. They accelerate the process of individuation, the lifelong journey of integrating the conscious and unconscious mind, the process of becoming a whole and authentic self. When someone falls in love with you, they might believe they're witnessing something extraordinary or almost magical within you. And in a way, they are. But the real enchantment lies in what you awaken within them. You're more than a physical presence or a personality. You become a representation, a symbol, perhaps even a threshold between who they were and who they are becoming. You're a turning point, a living invitation from their unconscious mind, calling them toward evolution. And just the same, the people you fall for, especially those who stir something intense within you, who change your perspective, who challenge your comfort zones, or even shatter your heart, are not chosen at random. They carry symbolic weight. They are messengers of meaning, agents of your own inner transformation. Some arrive to rekindle dormant parts of your soul. Some appear to force you to confront lessons you've long ignored or denied. And others exist simply to show you your reflection, whether that reflection is clear and honest or warped and difficult to face. Depends on your readiness to look within. Not every relationship is destined to be long-lasting. Some are meant to disrupt your life, not settle into it. Some exist specifically to break repetitive cycles or outdated emotional patterns. Jung referred to these profound encounters as synchronistic, meaningful coincidences that defy logic but carry deep psychological and spiritual significance. When someone steps into your life at exactly the right moment and evokes powerful emotions or internal shifts, it's likely not an accident. It's an indication that your unconscious and theirs were both primed and ready. The meeting itself is often the first sign that inner change was already underway, even if you weren't fully conscious of it yet. These are not accidents, not even the heartbreaking ones, especially not those that leave a lasting imprint on your soul. Sometimes, the most painful experiences are the ones that shape us the most. So why do people fall in love with you? It's because you either mirror something they're desperately yearning for, or you activate a part of their being they've buried or forgotten. In either case, the emotion of love isn't solely about you as a person. It's about their own psyche striving toward transformation. And the reverse is equally true. You're drawn to people who reflect your inner voids, who resemble archetypal images buried in your unconscious, who possess, knowingly or unknowingly, a key to unlocking the next stage of your development. But if you fail to recognize these deeper patterns at play, you run the risk of becoming stuck, drawn repeatedly to the same kind of people, recreating the same relationship dynamics, chasing illusions, mistaking projection for genuine connection. You might think you're simply unlucky in love, when in reality, your psyche is persistently trying to deliver a lesson you're not yet willing or prepared to absorb. Jung would say the answer lies in awareness. Once you begin to observe your projections, uncover your inner archetypes, and become conscious of your emotional patterns, you stop looking outward for someone to fill your emptiness. You begin the essential work of becoming complete within yourself. And from that state of inner wholeness, love takes on a new form. It's no longer governed by fantasy or fear. It becomes grounded, sincere, liberating. Because in the end, The most profound form of love isn't about discovering the ideal partner. It's about awakening the fragments of yourself that have been waiting in the shadows, yearning to be acknowledged. You don't merely fall for another person. You fall in love with the version of you that comes alive through them. The version that feels seen, stirred, challenged, transformed. Viewing love through Jung's perspective reveals a deeper truth. Love is never just about the other person. It is, at its core, a sacred journey back to the self, a mirror held up by the soul to facilitate its own expansion. So the next time someone is drawn to you, or you feel that undeniable pull toward another soul, take a moment to reflect. What part of my inner world is being stirred awake right now? If this video has sparked personal insights or reminded you of your own emotional journeys, feel free to share your story in the comments below. I'd be honored to hear your reflections. And don't forget to subscribe to Mind's Secret Path for more meaningful, introspective content exploring psychology, relationships, and the mysterious terrain of the inner life.